how ocean pollution affects us? Did you know that the ocean produces over half the oxygen in the world? Not only that, but it regulates the climate, covering over 70% of the Earth's surface. Only an estimated 10% of the ocean has been discovered, so learning more about the ocean and the ways to protect it will only benefit us. Ocean exploration. It's about making discoveries and for searching for things that are unusual and unexpected. As the first step in the scientific process, observations about the biological, physical, and chemical aspects of the ocean gained from exploration set the stage for future research and decision making. We collect data and information through ocean exploration needed to address both current, emerging science, and management needs. Exploration helps us ensure that ocean resources are not just managed, but managed sustainably, so that those resources are around for future generations to enjoy. Exploration of the U.S. Executive Economic Zone is important for national security and for future generations. It helps us set boundaries, claim ocean resources, and learn mysteries about the ocean, and can help us develop new therapies, vaccines, food, energy, as well as inspire inventions that mimic things in the ocean. Information from ocean exploration can help us understand how we are affecting and being affected by the Earth's environment, including changes in weather and climate. Insights from ocean exploration can help us better understand and respond to earthquakes, tsunamis, and other hazards. More than 90% of the ocean has never been mapped, explored, or even seen by humans. A far greater percentage of the surface of the moon, planet of Mars, have been mapped and studied than the ocean floor has. So here are some problems we face today in the ocean. So pollution, overfishing, and then some destructions of habitats. So pollution in today's oceans. Each year, billions of pounds of trash and other pollutants enter the ocean. Where does this pollution come from? Where does it go? Some of the debris end up in our beaches, washed in with the waves and the tides. Some debris is even eaten by marine animals. The majority of pollutants that make their way in the ocean come from human activities along the coastline or from far inland. One of the biggest sources of pollution is non-point source pollution, which occurs as a result of runoff. So non-point pollution examples include vehicles, farms, livestock ranches, and timber harvest areas. Here's a little chart that kind of explains what can happen. So it can come from cities, there's pollution through the air, but it can also come from runoff from farms, from the manure, and it can go into the water, which can pollute it. Also, factories and things like that, they pollute the air, which can also affect the water. And then on the other side, we have point sources, which can come from oil spills in the ocean, if there's any oil rig failures, stuff like that can cause it too. And then pollution that comes from a single source is known as point source pollution. Point source pollution events fortunately happen less often, but have larger impacts. And then here's a little video that kind of explains non-point solution, non-source point solution.
Hi, my name is India Ambo. I am an environmental scientist at the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality, and today I am going to demonstrate our EnviroScape model as it relates to non-point source pollution. In order to talk about non-point source pollution, we must talk about the definition of point source pollution. Point source pollution comes from one specific place, like the chemical plant. Facilities like this are monitored by the Louisiana Department of Environmental Quality Permits Division to ensure that they do not release too many pollutants into our waterways. Non-point source pollution is exactly what it sounds like. Non-point source pollution does not come from one specific place, so it's very hard to control. And the best way to think of it is to think that anything that falls on the ground can end up in our waterways because of runoff. Runoff happens when it rains, and it picks up anything that is on the ground, and as long as the water is moving,
Alright. Destruction of the habitats from the ocean is one of the 5 ecological pressures impacting the ocean. Damage and destruction of habitats harm the organisms living within that area, and in some cases, their survival and regeneration. Habitat destruction can significantly impact and have significant impact on marine biodiversity and species richness and survival. Genetic variation as well. Entire ecosystems are altered by the loss of a habitat. For example, destructive fishing practices, dredging, shrimp farming, and poisoning can displace and destroy habitats, including food, shelter, and breeding grounds for numerous species. And then here's an example of, there's a turtle being stuck in a fishing net, and there's some divers, and they go down and see it, so they're just cutting it out to open it. But stuff like this happens a lot, and it's with a lot of other fish and even sharks. If they get caught in the fishing nets and they can't swim, that impacts their ability to breathe, so they just end up, drowning. or just starving if they can't move and they're just stuck there. And then, in conclusion, although it is important that we continue making discoveries and learning more about the ocean's depths, it is just as important, if not more important, that we protect the ocean and the species that inhabit it. Destruction of habitats, pollution of the ocean, and overfishing are all serious problems in the ocean that need to be resolved if we wish to have a sustainable future. Without the ocean, the whole world would be in trouble, so it is extremely important that we keep ourselves educated and informed about changes in our problems of the ocean so we can continue to have a maintainable and sustainable future. That's it.